What if I told you you could turn kefir into yogurt and get more probiotics than store-bought? Sure, you could just drink kefir, and by all means, please do. It's wonderful. But otherwise, I'm going to show you how and why this probiotic concoction might be your gut's new best friend. Why you should care. Texture, taste, and gut power. If you love probiotics, you've probably tried both kefir and yogurt, but each has its limits. Kefir, tangy, thin, and absolutely packed with probiotics, but not everyone loves the taste or texture. Yogurt, on the other hand, thick, creamy, familiar. But unless you really read the labels on store-bought yogurt, you'll be lucky if you get 4 to 5 different strains. So here's the sweet spot. Making yogurt from kefir. You get a yogurt that's creamier than kefir, milder in taste, and richer in probiotics than most regular yogurt. It has fewer yeasts than kefir, yes, but is still loaded with gut-healing probiotics. And yes, you can simply make your own yogurt at home with yogurt as a starter rather than kefir, and you can get many powerful strains and probiotic counts that are much higher than those you would get from grocery store yogurt. However, I cover that in other videos, so I'll link them for you below. Plus, maybe you just have kefir on hand and you want to make yogurt, so I'll show you how to make it. Milk myth busted. Why ultra-pasteurized is actually genius. So forget everything you've heard about yogurt needing raw or low-temp pasteurized milk. Fine, you can totally do it that way if you'd like, but I use ultra-pasteurized milk, and here's why it works so well. The milk's already been heated and the proteins have been denatured, which means you're gonna get thick, creamy yogurt without the extra effort. So you don't need to heat your milk, then cool it, guess at temperatures. It's already done for you. Plus, it's sterile. We're not gonna have any random bacteria to compete with our kefir culture. And this is a huge time saver in general for busy people who want probiotic foods without the fuss. The probiotic science, what lives, what dies, and what that means for your gut. You might be wondering, if I'm heating kefir to turn it into yogurt, aren't some of the probiotics dying off? Yes, that's true. Homemade kefir can have 30 to 50 strains. But once you ferment it into yogurt, especially at warm temperatures, some of those more delicate strains, like certain yeasts, for example, just won't survive. But many heat-tolerant bacteria survive, and here are a few examples. So no, I'm not ending up with 30 to 50 strains like I would from homemade kefir, not even close. Still, I'm likely left with more strain diversity than standard yogurt, which often contains, again from the grocery store, 4 to 5 strains, unless you read those labels. In contrast, kefir-based yogurt could contain around 15 hardier strains, especially when it's fermented slowly and gently. But here's the kicker. Because I'm fermenting it for 24 hours, I'm also going to get much higher microbial counts, meaning more total beneficial bacteria per spoonful compared to a fast fermented store-bought yogurt that might be done in as few as 6 hours. How to make kefir yogurt. Here's my simple method. I always start with a good ultra-pasteurized whole milk. This is an expensive one, but it's high quality. Regenerative farmed, organic. This is A2, so if you have an issue with A1 casein, you're more likely to tolerate this. Higher omega-3s in something that is grass-fed, where the cows are out and about in the pastures. So this is the milk I'm using, but any ultra-pasteurized whole milk will work. And then I use 3 sterilized quart jars. So half gallon of milk is going to go in these jars. I used to not always be so great about sterilizing my jars, but I make yogurt so much. I've made yogurt more times than I could even count. I could make it in my sleep. So it's just become a part of my process. Plus, I ferment so many different things in these jars that it's just smarter for me to start with a clean slate. And then I'm not a measurer, so I just kind of go, that looks like about enough kefir to splash on me and to ferment that amount of milk. Let's put a little bit more in this one and a little bit more in this one. Feel free to be more scientific about this. Probably about 1/4 cup of kefir per half gallon of milk will do the job. And then I stir to mix up the microbes. Then I cover it loosely with a mason jar lid. Covering just keeps your future yogurt from being exposed to whatever could be in the air, but you don't want to cover it tightly because gases that are produced during fermentation need to be able to escape. Then I set my jars directly into my Instant Pot, and this one is awesome for making yogurt. I think it's my fifth Instant Pot, that is, and it has an adjustable temperature setting. You can adjust the time, you can set favorites. I just love it. So I'll link it for you if you're interested. You could use whatever yogurt maker you want, however, a dehydrator. You just want to maintain a certain temperature. And as far as temperature, I'm going to ferment at 100 degrees Fahrenheit or about 38 degrees Celsius. This is because typical yogurt making temperatures, which are a bit higher, like closer to 110 plus or minus, are going to kill a lot of the microbes in my kefir. So I'm just keeping my temperature a little bit lower to try to preserve as many of the microbes as possible. Also, I'm going to ferment for 24 hours in order to increase my microbial counts. Ferment for too long, and then you could potentially start killing off things. So again, this is a matter of what you think is best. So yeah, that's my process. It's so easy. And another thing about picking a 24-hour ferment is your microbes are going to consume more of the lactose. So if you have trouble with lactose, your resultant yogurt will be easier to digest. Once your yogurt is done, take it right out and throw it in the fridge. You can strain it optionally if you want Greek style texture. And when you're ready to make your next batch, the good thing is you can repeat this process by using some of your old yogurt to start the next batch. So you'll just get some more milk, take some of this yogurt once it's done, and use a little bit, mix it into your milk, and start all over. After maybe 4 to 6 batches, however, you're going to want to start over because your microbes will weaken or even start to compete with each other, and your yogurt will start to be maybe separated, thinner, not taste as good, etc. All right, so this is yogurt that I made the other day using this exact method. Let's see how it turned out. That is satisfyingly thick yogurt that I have not strained. I literally haven't touched this. I made it and stuck it right in the fridge. So if you're looking for a nice quality yogurt, follow this method to a T, and honestly, it turns out great. You might have some issues depending on all of the strains in the kefir you choose to use. So if you ever have issues, maybe tweak that a little bit. You can always get a store-bought kefir with less strains if you just want to do it that way. But this is good stuff. It's super tart, which is how I absolutely love my yogurt. Ferment for less time if you want a less tart yogurt. I don't know. You can't beat the thickness, the taste. I've been making a lot of yogurt though, so kind of have it nailed down, but I have faith in you. You've got this. You can do it too. But why should you try this, and why might it change your gut health game? Like I said, this is perfect if you want a middle ground between kefir and yogurt. Milder flavor than kefir, easier on kids and maybe picky eaters, spoonable texture for bowls and smoothies. It's got a probiotic punch stronger than store-bought yogurt. If you're busy and want to keep feeding your gut diverse microbes, this method is just so simple. So comment below if you've ever tried kefir yogurt, or if you try it now, let me know what you think. What's your favorite probiotic food hack? Let me know that too. And remember to eat real food. I'll see you next time.